Hi everyone. In this video we're going to take a look at implementing the MVC architectural design pattern into our Java dynamic web projects. So again, this is really kind of a poor man's implementation of a MVC architectural design pattern. Normally if you were using the Spring framework, it would include all the hooks and bells and whistles. To get going with MVC a bit quicker, perhaps a bit more professionally. Again, this is really a nuts and bolts. How do you implement MVC in the dynamic web projects? In Microsoft.NET, it's got for their MVVM design pattern, they've got a lot of great hooks to get started with that very quickly. And again, this is really a poor man's MVC framework. It really is. So as a quick reminder, MVC, basically we have the three parts of it. I'm going to start with the view. And the view is all the code that the user sees. So for our dynamic web projects, that would be our HTML pages, our JSP pages, any CSS that sits behind that. Our controllers are going to be just our servlets, but instead of putting the HTML code into the servlets, which is super painful to do, we're going to not do that anymore. We're definitely not going to do that anymore. And then our models is really any supporting objects or classes that we need. So our Java beans, our data access objects, maybe classes that read in the code from the command line, or maybe code that reads XML, whatever. Any other code that supports our websites will go into the models. Now again, our controllers will manipulate and basically control all those object interactions that our models have. And then our view will basically look at those Java beans, our data access objects, and show the users what's in those Java beans and what they got out of the data access objects. And again, our users will control, or rather will use the controllers. And I'll show you how to get set up with that. So first thing I'm going to do is I've got Eclipse already running, and I'm going to create a new dynamic web project to show you how to implement MVC. So I'm going to call this Hello MVC, give it a quick generic name. I'm going to click Next. Yep, looks good. Click Next. We'll keep the context root the same. We'll call it Hello MVC. We'll keep the content directory the same, web content, and we'll generate a web XML file. Let's go with it. Okay, so I'm going to expand that. First thing I'm going to do is show folks how to implement the views. And really implementing the views is just like you've been doing this whole time. Under web content, you can go in and you can add maybe an HTML folder that'll store all our static HTML files. Maybe you include a new folder now for JSPs. You would include a folder perhaps for CSS, and maybe another folder for images. Just like you've been doing in Web 1, this directory structure for the front end of the website. Basically everything Web 1 taught you, that's all the view, and that's all stored in this web content folder. Oh, maybe you also have a JS folder for JavaScript, that sort of thing. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a quick view, a quick JSP folder. I'm going to call it hello.jsp. And I'll click Finish. I'm going to fix the tabbing in here real quick. I'm going to tab the head and body elements over, and then I'm going to tab the title inside the head element, and I'm going to give this a quick H1 element. We'll say hello, comma, MVC. Okay, and that should be, and I did that very quickly, but that's very similar to what we've been doing this whole time in this course. So making our HTML folders very similar to Web 1. Okay, next thing I'm going to look at is actually implementing our controllers, our servlets, and where to put those. There's no real major change with that. I'm going to put it into kind of a different Java package. So it should feel very similar. In the source folder, I'm going to right-click that and do New Package. And I'm going to give it the organization name, so CBTC. I'm going to give it the name of the class, Java Web, and then I'm going to name it Hello MVC, why not? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to call it controllers. So I'm going to add a kind of package underneath what we've normally been doing. So normally we've been clumping everything into what would be this hello MVC package. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to add a .controllers location. I'm going to go ahead and click finish. Inside of that, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add a quick servlet. I'm going to call that hello servlet. Just a quick servlet. Again, I'm implementing a poor man's MVC framework that you can use. So I'm going to go ahead and click next, next, and then I'm going to override init and destroy, just like we have been doing. And there you go. That's really where we're going to put all our servlets or our controllers. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to delete these to-do auto-generated comments. They really bug me. I'm going to go ahead and delete this code right here. And then I'm going to delete this. I'm going to have do post called do get just like it has. I'm just going to leave it. And there you go. Oh, I should also delete this web servlet annotation, as we found from our class. They can conflict, and then I'm going to delete this useless import. So again, there you go. That's implementing our controllers. Now, there's a bit of a trick with actually having our users use our controllers and then serving up a view. There's a little trick that you can do. And I'm going to show you how to do that in the doGet method. Basically what you do is users will, they will type in the URL pattern to get to this controller. This controller will run, and then it's going to serve up a JSP page from this controller. So again, I'm going to look at this view. Users are going to type in the URL for this controller. The controller is going to talk to the models, and then it's going to serve up this view here. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So what you do is in the request object, there is a method called get request dispatcher right here. Get request dispatcher. And get request dispatcher expects the name of the view that you're going to serve up to users. So again, instead of typing our Java strings here, like, you know, string HTML equals doc type HTML, we're not going to do that anymore. We're not going to do that anymore. We're going to delete that. And instead, we're going to do request.getDispatcher, and we're going to type in the file path to hello.jsp. So first we're going to start at the root. So this little slash here indicates the web content. Then we're going to type in JSP, and then we're going to type another slash and the name of our hello.jsp file. So hello.jsp, like that. Then what we're going to do is we're going to forward users to that hello.jsp file. So I'm going to do forward. And the forward method expects the request and the response, like so. And there you go. Now I should probably open up my web XML now and make sure all my URL patterns are set and ready to go. So I'm going to look at webinf. Indeed, nothing is set up and ready to go. So I'm going to knock out a quick web XML file. So I'm going to delete all that welcome file stuff. Again, I'm going to put in I'm going to specify my servlets. We'll give it a servlet name. So again, we've only got one. It's called hello servlet. And again, we're going to put in the servlet class element. And again, that is the full package name. So it's going to be cvtc.javaweb.hello MVC controllers and then the name of the servlet. So hello servlet. There we go. Again, I've been seeing some folks not quite type this in correctly. Again, if this is not typed in as exactly as the package dot class name, then it's going to explode. You're going to get 500 errors because Apache's not going to be able to instantiate our servlets. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a new servlet mapping. I'm going to put in the name of the servlet. It's going to be hello servlet, just like you've been doing before. And then I'm going to add a URL pattern. So I'm going to say, I'm going to give a URL pattern of /hello servlet. Because I've got a bad memory, I'm also going to copy and paste this guy, and I'm going to say, instead of typing hello servlet, I'm going to put a pattern for hello servlet and then hello as well. So during development, I can type in either of these. Okay, I'm going to click hello servlet, and I'm going to click the play button. Again, yes, always use the server. Yes, make sure it's configured. Okay, click play. There we go. Wait for our web to get deployed, and there you go. That is a poor man's MVC architectural design pattern, the first two pieces anyway. So again, the request is being sent to hello servlet. Hello servlet is running its doGet method. We are calling the request dispatcher. And we're saying, hey, wrap this hello.jsp in an object into a request dispatcher object, and then we're going to forward users onto this hello.jsp. So again, that's setting up a dynamic web project. So again, we've implemented the view and then the controller. What we haven't done is we haven't implemented any models. So what I'm going to do is show you where you would implement your models. So what you're going to do is you can now implement a new a models package. So instead of a controllers package, you would implement a models package. Now, I've noticed that when you right-click source and do new package, it doesn't like put the package where I would want it. So I would want it that package to appear here under the source folder, but for whatever reason it like appears below libraries. So again, just saving you a little bit of time, I'm going to right click this package and then do new package here. Again, this is really weird. It's like Eclipse has some bug where it doesn't put the package where I want it. So again, I'm going to click right click this controller and do new package. And then I'm going to change the name of the package. I'm going to call it models. And then I'm going to go ahead and click finish. So this is implemented in the correct place. It's like if I just for example, if I right click this and do new package here, I'm going to call it cvtc.javaweb.hello mvc.whatever. You notice like it doesn't, you notice how it popped up below libraries? It's really weird. I don't know why it does that. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and delete that. Really weird. Anyway, so again, my models are where I would put my Java beans, my data access objects. So I'll show you how to do that. Again, you would just create a models package. Let's say I create a new Java bean. Let's say I call it hello Java bean. And I'll click finish. And that's a model. And maybe I've got a hello data access object. Maybe I would call it hello DAO. That's where I put my hello data access object. And maybe you would want to add yet another, maybe a more specific package such as cvtc.javaweb.hello-mvc.models.dao.javabeans.whatever, and you can expand this out as much as you need. Now, for big web projects, you might want to do that. For ours, they're relatively small. And so it might be good enough for our small websites to just have a .controllers package and a .models package. So I'm going to go back to my servlet, and in here, maybe in my doGet method, maybe I create a new hello Java bean. and it's going to complain because I haven't imported it. So then I'm going to import the models package, and there you go. Again, I'm not really talking about how you would use a Java Bean or how you would implement a DAO pattern. Again, future lessons will look at that. But this is a really poor man's MVC architectural design pattern. So again, I've got my models all separated out into a models package. I've got my controllers that's going to serve up my hello JSP and is acting as this intermediate between the Java beans that I might be using in this doGet method and the views that our users are seeing. And then my views that are just the same that I've been using this whole time. So again, that's implementing a poor man's architectural design framework. Really, it's two packages, the JSP and HTML folders that you've been doing in Web 1. And then in my controllers package, I'm putting my servlets. And in my models package, I'm putting my Java beans and my data access object. So really, it's two packages and some JSP folders and this this get request dispatcher. So really, there's not much to implementing MVC. Again, I hope this video was helpful for this week's assignment and really getting started with MVC in architectural design pattern in our dynamic web projects. And again, if you got any questions about this, swing by, let me know if you've got any questions. I'll definitely help you out. Thanks for watching.